years, Olivia Newton-John publicly shared her battle with breast cancer. And on Monday, her family announced she passed away from the disease at the age of 73. The iconic singer and actress was best known for her role as Sandy from Grease. She was first diagnosed back in 1992, returning 2 more times in her life, now most recently in May of 2017. Newton-John created a wellness and research center in her name, calling herself a cancer thriver.
Cancer can engulf your mind and engulf your being, and I try not to live my life with that in my mind all the time. I live beyond it, I love beyond it, I sing beyond it, and I want that for everybody.
Among the many tributes pouring in, her former Grease co-star John Travolta posted on social media, "You made all of our lives so much better. Your impact was incredible. I love you so much. You're Danny, you're John." Newton-John said that she was initially diagnosed the same weekend her father died of cancer. Her decades-long fight included a partial mastectomy, chemo, and breast reconstruction. By 2020, she was facing stage 4 breast cancer. I want to bring in Dr. Erika Hamilton, Director of Breast Cancer Research at the Sarah Cannon Research Institute. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, a lot of people right now might be surprised to hear she battled breast cancer 3 separate times. Is this normal?
It's not most common, but it certainly happens. So it's definitely a good reminder that although most people diagnosed with early breast cancer are in fact cured and won't have to deal with breast cancer again in their lifetime, that there is a subset that comes back later. And sometimes, yes, this can even happen 2 decades later.
Yeah, Newton-John was just 43 years old when she was first diagnosed. Is that considered early?
It is considered early compared to the typical age that women are diagnosed with breast cancer, but certainly in my clinic, I see women even in their 20s or their 30s.
And you can tell by that video that we just shared that she was a big power of positive thinking and its effect on healing and recovery. Do you think this plays a huge role in the healing process that someone may be going through at this time?
I do. I think, your attitude certainly can help. We know that mood, et cetera, can even be linked with immune function. This can help as well. But it certainly, as you point out, is a big loss. Not only was Miss Newton-John outspoken regarding the importance of breast cancer surveillance and mammograms, but she was also a huge champion for breast cancer research and clinical trials, and was very upfront with how important that clinical trials had been in her personal journey. She even founded a Cancer Research and Wellness Institute in Australia. So certainly a big loss for the breast cancer community.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Let's break that down a little bit more. In recent years, Newton-John was a vocal advocate for alternative medicines, including plant-based eating and even marijuana. Is there any medical backing as of right now that plant-based alternative medicines could help out patients?
Well, in fact, a lot of our chemotherapy medicines actually do come from plants. So it's certainly a little bit different than marijuana, but we do use plant-based medicine even in traditional chemotherapies. And you're right, Miss Newton-John was a proponent of not only doing standard therapies, but also looking into alternative therapies, how her diet and exercise could affect her body and how she fought cancer. So absolutely.
Now, for anybody watching that has cancer within their family, how early should they go get checked and these physical exams to be on the safe side?
That's a question that's important and one that doesn't have a one-size-fits-all answer, unfortunately.
Okay.
Certainly, it's an individual discussion with a woman and her physician about when things such as mammograms should start. It's recommended, and we recommend at age 40 at a minimum. But for some people that have a very strong family history, it might be recommended even earlier. And I think Miss Newton-John's experience also highlights an important fact that she did not have a family history of breast cancer in her family. And most breast cancers in America are not familial. And unfortunately, still 1 in 8 women in America will experience breast cancer at some point during their life.
Oh, wow. Let's talk about the cost of everything. This is a big bill at the end of the day, but there is help for a lot of patients going through this. So do you know of any programs out there that could help any viewers at this time?
Absolutely. So, mammograms are most often covered by insurance. That's never really an issue. And for patients that are underinsured or not insured, there's a lot of local resources for even free mammograms, mammogram trucks that may come around to certain places like the health department, or certainly can go to resources like the American Cancer Society and things of that nature to try to look for other places to have mammograms that may be cost free.
Okay. And is there any specific community that you're seeing a rise in breast cancer, or is it just kind of hitting all communities across the nation?
Certainly, unfortunately, no one can escape breast cancer. There are certain communities that may be diagnosed with breast cancer earlier or have worse outcomes. The Black community is one of those. And so there are a lot of initiatives really to make sure that we get patients in that community screened, give them access to great health care, educate them about clinical trials and new drug therapies that are out there. Interestingly, even just last week, there was a brand new drug that was FDA approved for a new subset of breast cancer called HER2-low. And this is a drug that ultimately may reach up to 60% of patients that are diagnosed with incurable breast cancer. So we are making strides and improving therapies every day.
Yeah, there's hopefully some hope there. All good information. Dr. Erika Hamilton, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.